right with every turn. In every crash, a lesson learned. The roar of engines, scream of tires, feeds the need, ignites the fire. You thought you had the skills to win, but the checkered flag is where it begins. Born to race, born to fight, push the limit, own the night. Feel the fire, hear the sound, burning rubber on the ground. No mercy shown, no second place. In this league, there's no disgrace. If you're not first, you know the luck, but in the end, it sucks to suck. On the edge of speed, we drive the line, leave them broken at the finish sign. Glory waits for those who dare. In the heat of battle, we're prepared. No mercy shown, no second place. In this league, there's no disgrace. If you're not first, you know the luck, but in the end, it sucks to suck. On the end, it sucks. Clears and engines die. The victors stand, the rest just cry. The truth is hard, the road is rough. If you can't keep up, well, it sucks to suck. Engines roar, the lights go green. Metal beasts on gasoline. Pedal down, no turning back. Feel the thunder on the track. Chrome and steel, the battle calls. Through the smoke, we stand tall. Rivals crushed, we leave in dust. Speed is our only trust. You think you're fast, you think you're tough, but on this track it sucks to suck. Born to race, born to fight, push the limit, own the night. Feel the fire, hear the sound, burning rubber on the ground. No mercy shown, no second place. In this league, there's no disgrace. If you're not first, you know the luck, but in the end, it sucks to suck. Feel the rush, adrenaline, victory in our skin. Tighten the grip, hold the line, defeats the word we leave behind. Danger right with every turn, in every crash, a lesson learned. The roar of engines, scream of tires, feeds the need, ignites the fire. You thought you had the skills to win, but the checker.
Welcome everyone tonight to for season number 16. This is our GT series, round number 4, coming at you from virtual Autodromo Nazionale Monza from Lombardy, Italy. A temple of speed, as it were to be called, a house of Ferrari. If you watch enough F1, you see the Tifosi here all the time. If you happen to wreck a car, the Tifosi will be happy to cart the pieces off into the parking lot, and they will never be seen again. We have Dan Griffith here trying to get a nice representative lap set. You see him taking the shortcut to the line here. Shortest possible distance. Is that going to be enough for provisional pole? It is a 146.78. So another qualifying session topped by Dan. And I believe he was the last one to set his last lap there. So we have, that is Zane Bierman. He's just in the pits here. So he did one lap. I don't see anyone else. What? Yep, I do see someone else out on track. It is Nick Terrell. So Nick, not in the Spaceballs BMW this time, but in a Ferrari. Guessing after, yeah, it's just fitting having a Ferrari here at Monza. There we go. So we have about 30 seconds of qualifying left. Nick trying to punch in something a little bit nicer than his current unlisted position here. As the seconds are ticking down, he's going to get that last lap in. And it's going to be across the line, waiting for the time. Guessing he did not actually get one in. Must have had an off track on that one. So we'll have Nick Terrell starting from the back. That is the end of qualifying, as we will pull the overall set here real quick. Pulling up the grid here. Dan Griffith coming in with your pole with a 146.777. And then Connor Wagner will be starting in second. Ricky Renner starting in third. Brody Wallace starting in fourth. Jake Browning in fifth. Nicholas Menard in sixth. Kevin Hayes in seventh. Michael Schwartz will be starting in eighth. Sergio in ninth. Josh Betts in 10th. Philip Adams in 11th. Michael Picone in 12th. Josh Anderson in 13th. Tyler Reed in 14th. In 15th is going to be Eric Langkamp. James Molyneux in 16th. Warren Sanger in 17th. Zane Bierman in 18th. 19th will be Tyler Roberts. Stephen Wilcox in 20th. Kerry Corcoran starting in 21st. Let me just find somebody sitting on the grid here real quick before we do that. There we go. That'll be Kerry Corcoran starting in 21st. 22nd will be Alex Jaspers. 23rd, Aaron Reed. 24th, Andrew Corbin. And who else do we have here? There we go. Tim Thompson starting in 25th. Jack DeBruin starting in 26th. William Burrow in 27th. Chris Hayes in 28th. Nick Terrell in 29th. 30th is going to be Jack Peterson. Alan Gullison in 31st. And Drake Leach in 32nd. Lyman Chow starting in 33rd. 34th will be Michael Rakes. And 35th is going to be Romario Jackson. So 35 guys out here tonight, looking like everyone except Chris Hayes and Nick Terrell already on the grid. So we will see these guys pop in here shortly. Let's pull that down. I'm going to do that. And notice we had a few drivers hopping in late. So let me add them into my list here and go ahead and put them in their correct division, which is, that's just Andrew apparently. There's going to be set into rookies. Set his colors to that. Rookie. Go back through, make sure I don't have anyone in the iRacing division. I do not, so that should be good job on everyone. Sort that by their name. We'll hit that. and show you here how they group out here. So Dan Griffith in the rookie division for one more race. Or I could have put, I believe it's Menard that should be in platinum this time, and Jake Browning as well, but I did not get confirmation from Mr. Dave Tilford, so that will be next race. We will, I know at least one or two of those will be sorted out, and then it'll be starting with race 6, where you will see just about everyone in their correct divisions. So you can see the top 6 there pretty much dominated by that rookie division, so a lot of those guys are going to wind up in the platinum division. So we will start here. I'm going to start with the start cam. You can see the iRacing safety car Porsche about to pull on into the pit lane here, and that will give control to Dan Griffith to fire it off on green. See him waiting. There we go. Hear them all taking off. See that Wonderbred Ford of Brody Wallace going to the outside there. Let's see if they can do better than professional racing car drivers into turn 1. Who's going to survive? Looking here through Prima Variante. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Looks like a little accordion going on in the back. I see some donuts out of a Mustang. And this is the Curva Bassano. And the leader should be coming into the Segunda Variante now. And now we're headed to the first of the Lesmo corners. And yes, I said Lesmo, not the Jeremy Clarkson pronunciation. So you Top Gear fans will know what I'm talking about. This is the second Lesmo. As now, ooh, a little bit of contact there on the inside. We'll have to roll those back and see that. And this is the Curva Do Sol. And now they're going into the entry for Ascari. Very famous corner named after a very famous driver. As you can see, the nice curves that these cars are going to have to deal with there. As we go into one of the... that airborne there. Now we're into Parabolica here. Entry. We'll catch them coming through the exit of Parabolica, running wide on that white line there for Dan Griffith. Not too much more for that to be a track cut. Let's see, I don't think we do not have a TV mixed here, unfortunately. Ooh, but I do have 2 other shots I want to check into. Dan starting to march that gap out there. Watch these guys coming through here. Everybody making it through the Prima Variante the second time through. So looks like 2 guys had to go into the pits. It'll be Mike Picone and Tim Thompson. I have a phone that's apparently making noise. There we go. Not important. All right. Checking in. Heard somebody hitting something there. Let's see who it was. Nice little battle here between Josh Betts and Philip Adams, though. There's a lot of dirt on that track there that he's getting kicked up. All right, as we go down into Ascari here. Adams thinking about taking a look. See, just kind of all over the back there. I mean, you don't see a ton of drafting in GT racing, but I think we definitely have some draft packs forming here tonight. And will Adams have something on the outside for Betts there? So you're going to get a nice run. continue with this, one of the closer battles here on track. And oh, live it is. I believe Zane. Nope, he wasn't involved. That's Warren Sanger, Stephen Wilcox, maybe. We're gonna have to go back and looks like the battle at the front has calmed down a little bit. Let me looking for the green flag here. Where is it? Here it is. So showing a crash for Aaron Reed. Let's see what happened here for Aaron. We're gonna just go full speed. I'm guessing that was a bump somewhere in here. Although we will watch, try to see which one Aaron is. Okay. Looks like Aaron is going to be in the Mustang there. Kind of getting pinched out and spun around. Then we have another one here for Tim Thompson. What happened to Tim? Looking for Tim's paint job here. Where he is. Yeah, that's going to be him just trying to avoid everything and everybody stacking it up a little bit. Having a crash for William Burrell here. This is all just this yeah, turn one. More turn one stuff. More turn one stuff. More turn one stuff. There we go. So this was Eric Langkamp here. What happened with Eric? Oh, a little bit of contact there from, I believe that is James Molyneux there. Nothing James can really do to get out of that particular position. And showing Romario Jackson going off track here. What happened with Romario? Oh, gets out in the kitty litter. Has to run it a little wide. Alright, as we keep scrolling through here, showing an accident for Stephen Wilcox. What happened to Stephen here? I definitely. Oh! Whoa! I think somebody was missing a front bumper before that started, and yep, just kind of didn't have anything. Who was that in the very front there? That is a 15 car. Oh, they were in 15th, so I can't tell that. But yeah, quite a few involved in that one. Kerry Corcoran there. That's all still in that one. Showing another accident for James Molyneux. What happened to James here? Yep, losing the back end, doing a 50-50 slide on the curb, but stayed off the wall. That's the important thing. Showing an accident for Michael Rakes. What happened with Rakes here? This is into Parabolica. Yep, lost the back end on a Corvette. Showing an accident for Jake Browning. Looked like he's just running off the track there. And that gets us caught back up from everyone's drama here. We will check back in with our leader, Dan Griffin. Now has a 2.45 second lead over Ricky Renner. So Dan kind of marching out. Ricky managing to avoid some of the drama. Connor Wagner there and Brody Wallace right there. And the Wonder Bread Ford Mustang. Let's go through there. There we go. Let's look here. Nice little battle still going on here between Josh Betts and Philip Adams, and got Sergi knocking on the back door of Adams here. I wonder. Adams and that. It's just a little train of McLarens. But that's one nice little battle there. All these guys right in there within a tenth or two of each other. Adams able to stay glued to the back bumper of Betts there. And that is for your gold division lead between these two right here. Yeah, try to reload the overlay here and see if it fixes a little issue with. Oh. Well, no. Brady should have been. Brady Wallace in rookie. Not quite sure why. SDK is not playing nice with those two. Save that and update it. Maybe it'll straighten itself out before. But Connor Wagner in third, about 2 seconds behind Ricky Renner. Followed closely by Brady Wallace and Nicholas Menard. Menard up 1 spot from his starting position. Currently, your biggest gainer is going to be, well, it's a two-way tie between Alan Gullison and Drake Leach here. So these two guys up 16 positions, and Nick Terrell, well, he's up 15. So, yeah, we are 5 to 6 laps into this race now, and so it's about 3-4 spots a lap. So that's pretty good out of Nick there. Showing some weirdness out of Connor here. What may have been a connection issue. Saw a lot of blinking. Nothing to that, I guess. But still, your closest battle here is Adams right on the back door of Betts. And so these guys are lapping in the 148.5 range. Leaders last lap 147.4. So Adams losing about a second a lap behind Betts. That is if he has more pace. But running that close in there, I'm going to assume he does. And that is going to be Sergi making a move. Getting it done. Adams going to let this play out. Going to take the back seat here. See if he can manage to get a run with Sergi and probably use him to get around Betts. Yeah. Let's go on board with Josh Betts here, and let's look at where is it? The gearbox cam. Kind of show you the gap here between these guys. As I know, that's not exactly what you want to see, but Sergi taking the push there. Adams lifting off early, going to try to get that good run down the inside there. See if this move is going to be on for turn 1 here, as they are getting the draft, and I believe that's a little bit of bump drafting. We go on to Phillip Adams here on his nose. There's really not a lot of room for that. Adams kind of taking it easy, watching how that's going to play out. Betts able to be the last of the late breakers there, making the wobble up and get down into Prima Variante. All right, let's see. This little battle is that's going to be a while. But we do have Nicholas Menard and Brady Wallace here. And we can jump between some of these cams here. You can see the gap from Brody to Connor up there. Connor can still see Ricky, and Ricky can just still see Dan. So that's going to help drive, give them some drive. And you really got to get back towards, well, no, Tyler can still see. And you have Jake Browning behind him. Josh Anderson there. And Nick Terrell in 14th. Alan Gullison behind Nick. And finally, it's Jack DeBrun, the first one that really can't see the guy ahead of him too much anymore, except for the, peeking around the corner there at the end of the straight. All right, and looking like Jack Peterson looking to make a move here on Lyman Chow. Going to see if he can't. Is he going to make the move? Is he going to wait to do it on the inside or the outside of Parabolica? He's going to go down to the inside. Keep it tucked up nice. And kind of a little bit of a crossover in front of Lyman there. Should have a better exit. And with the recent nerfs to the Porsche, I'm not sure Lyman's going to have too much he can really do about that move. But unless he is just God's gift on the brakes into turn one, looks like Peterson has got that move done and dusted. As we check back in here, that is Kevin Hayes. There in the McLaren. Going around, I believe that it'll be... Is that... No. 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 That was Schwartz. In the Mustang there. And you can see this battle right there behind them. Adams got around Sergio. Sergio can go look back up the inside here at Parabolica. And side to side there at the exit. A little bit of motion out of the McLaren and Sergio. And it's a drag race. Who's going to be able to get a little bit of sniff? Yeah. At this point, if you're further behind the draft and try to cancel out any run. They come through Prima Variante again. The gap between these guys are all 0.3 of a second. And again, their pace 148.5 that lap. Dan Griffith out front 147.2. So Dan kind of in his own race here tonight. Open the gap up to Ricky Renner to almost 5 seconds. It's about a half a second a lap or so, as we are 9 laps in, 17 minutes into this race. So we are about just a little over a quarter of the way through. Looking back here, looks like a pass between Alex Jaspers and Michael Rakes. Rakes looking to the inside, not going to do anything with it. Here we go, showing a yellow flag for Tim Thompson, guessing he has a slowdown to clear. I see Drake Leach has a black flag he's having to serve, sitting in the pits there. Have to keep an eye out on that one. Tim getting that yellow cleared there. So that should be the... Must have gotten a slowdown and took a little bit of time to clear it. But not seeing a black as a result for Tim Thompson. But still, this is your battle here. Sergi and Philip Adams. These two neck and neck. The more they race each other, the easier it will be for Josh to pull out a little bit of distance. Side by side through the second Variante. Not a place you really want to take a GT3 too wide. Into the first Lesmo here. And that is Sergi getting that pass and position done. But that has opened the door for Jake Browning now to be on their back door. Jake involved in that early first lap shenanigans there. Jake gonna take a look to the inside of the Scari. Not quite close enough. Probably gonna try to focus and get a good exit and see if he can get him on the run down to Parabolica. So, oh yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That way you can catch all of our races here on CRN. And is Jake, they're all four-car group here within 0.3 of each other. Fastest lap last lap, Connor Wagner with a 147.06. Guessing somebody got a little draft help from somewhere. And that is Connor. Yep, got caught up to the back of Ricky Renner there. Is Connor going to have something for Ricky here as they are into the second Variante here? And here, car's tires skidding there. Yep. So that was, I believe, maybe Zane Bierman off track, I believe. Yep, that was Zane, according to SDK. So I'll have to see if Connor can do anything. Last lap, Nicholas Menard running a 148.47 in that Ferrari. Has not been down pit lane yet. Gonna look at some of these shots here and see if I see any damage. Not that I can tell. So, running about a half a second slower than his teammate Dan Griffith up front. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Maybe he's trying a little different in strategy, but that is Dan Griffith, Ricky Renner, Connor Wagner, Brady Wallace, and Nicholas Menard all into the pits this lap. Gonna have to get our pit lane cam because otherwise it does not like showing it. Let's see, is anybody going to try to stay out an extra lap? I shouldn't have asked that question because we know what the answer is. Here it is, Philip Adams getting another lap in. It's 22 minutes when everyone else is pitting. I don't think 8 minutes is a lot of fuel to save. Might be one of those things you get the extra lap now and come down to the final one if him and Betts and Sergi are still battling. That may just give him a nice little thing there. Sergi right there. Did Sergi pit? He pitted one lap earlier on lap 12. Okay. So we'll have to see how all this cycles back out. That is Sergi still on the back of Betts. I'm sure he's wishing that he would have managed to jump him a little bit in that phase. However, it looks like Jake Browning did manage to jump ahead of Josh Betts in the pit phase. Sergi going to the outside here. Too wide. Staying off each other. Some nice, clean, hard racing here tonight. Into the first Lesmo on the... Betts running that alternative line on the inside. Still just having a little more than Sergi there. Sergi getting a nice draft. Gonna stick his nose out on the inside to become the outside there. As they're going to go down into a Scari here, about side by side. Oh no! That appeared to be some netcode from what I was seeing there. It looked like he just got sucked right into the side of him. Not seeing a lot of damage. So maybe the iRacing gods kind of taking care of that. Looks like Bet's slowing down to let Sergi pass. Yeah, maybe Bet's being a little bit of a sportsman for maybe squeezing him a little tight. Wasn't quite sure. Sergi looking like he got away with that brush with the wall with no damage. So yeah, some days you get lucky. All right, and that is Philip Adams here coming out of the pits. This shows you the gap to him. 4 seconds. Double check after they get through here. Yeah. So Adams being able to extend and having clear air for a lap gave him force well, and also the brush with the wall there. That's what that cost Sergi. Nick Terrell up 17 spots. Alan Gullison here up 18 spots. And Jack Peterson, after those issues in the early goings in the turn 1, up 14 spots into 16th position there. And I'm showing Nicholas Menard with a yellow flag to slow down, which he has gotten served now. But that has put him off the back of Brady Wallace by a little bit. We'll check back in here. That is, Connor Wagner managing to, he's just hold right around that half a second off the back of Ricky Renner. So, looking like last lap Dan got held up with a little bit of traffic, or has just been trying to lift and coast and extend a little bit. So you see Alex Jaspers coming out of the pits there. These cars do have headlights. You can flash the competitors to let them know, hey, I'm a faster car coming up behind you, just to make sure they don't pull over in front of you. So, yeah, just a few little interesting things with GT3 here. Now, Connor down to about a quarter of a second behind Ricky. Have to see if he's going to try to make some kind of move, and that is drug Alex Jaspers. Right behind them, they're going around the Porsche of Kerry Corcoran. Kerry letting this lead pack by. Alright, let's see. Where else do we have? So that's going to be Connor going down to the inside as they head towards Ascari. Giving plenty of room. Has enough to make the pass before Ascari. Now, can Ricky hang on to the back of him? Have Connor drag him up towards Dan possibly. Last lap, Connor about 4/10 up on Dan. His and Dan's fastest laps are within 200ths of a second of each other. So, yeah, definitely a little bit for Connor to get the work done. 3 seconds to gain. Yeah, that's it. If you save a little extra, that could be a pit stop change up right there. Go back here and find Betts and Sergi still running nose to tail. And we have Kevin Hayes and Michael Schwartz still battling each other here. Schwartz looking down to the inside of Prima Variante, and that Mustang decides to let Kevin take that corner. Doesn't try to send it in. So good job on Michael Schwartz there, because you got to finish the race in a good position. You still have to finish the race. Speaking of finishing the race, looking like we've got a few cars out. That is Stephen Wilcox, Andrew, Warren Sanger, Drake Leach, Drake Leach, Zane Bierman, the last one still out on track running in 31st position. Corvette, not a big fan of the curbs. And here at Monza, to have a fast lap, you really have to attack the curbs. So, and like a little bit of a battle here between Lyman Chow and Tyler Reed. Tyler going to try to look to the, I was about to say outside, but it looks like he's going to go inside here. Lyman taking the longer outside route there to get onto the brakes into the second Variante. That is job done, Tyler Reed. But he runs wide through the kitty litter, just misses the wall. Sorry, Tyler, you're going to have to make that one again. All right. Now, Josh Betts has Nick Terrell closing up to the back of him. Looks like Sergi has been able to break that kind of draft window, getting it out to 1.2 seconds over Josh Betts, whereas Josh now has Nick in his footsteps. Looking like a little bit of a battle maybe between Eric Langkamp and Tyler Reed. Or I guess Reed got back around Langkamp possibly. Nope, Langkamp looking to make a move here. Stuck the nose out, decided not to go early. That's the problem, is if you pass into Parabolica, you know, unless you get a really good exit, the other guy's going to get your draft all the way down into turn one. So if you're going to make the move there, you're going to have to make it stick, or you're going to pay a price. Speaking of making a move, looking like Schwartz to the outside of Ascari here. It's going to be a battle on the brakes. Decide not to take it too wide through Ascari, which is highly... it's going to probably wind up badly. It can be done, but it's going to cost both of you a lot of race time. So, back through here, see if we have any big accidents. I'm seeing some off tracks. Nothing listed as a crash. I have one here for Drake Leach. We can see why the Mustang did not continue with us here tonight. Down through Ascari. Oh, catches the thing. Ooh. Yeah, that was a tow back to the pits, and that's going to be a little bit of repair time, taking a hard hit like that. Go back to the battle here between Kevin Hayes and Michael Schwartz. Look here. Like Schwartz backing off a little bit right now. But Nick Terrell has caught to the back of Betts. Ooh, Terrell getting a much better exit out of the Primo Variante. Now, the question is, even if you get a good run up here, you need to be about halfway alongside to make a move into the braking zone and make it stick. Nick decides that's not the spot to do it. Gonna hang out back behind Josh for a little bit longer here. And right behind Nick, you have the white Liquid Death Mustang of Alan Gullison. Showing Tyler Roberts in the pits here, a little early at 32 minutes. I'm not seeing any damage necessarily on that. Maybe just a little out of phase with everybody here because due to some damage or something. Right here, Schwartz a little closer this time. Looking to think about what he can do, but he also has Jake right behind him. Schwartz going to go to the outside down into Prima Variante as they are going to be pulling up pretty even here. Schwartz letting him have it into turn one there. As that is your leader, Dan Griffin. You know, Connor's gotten that gap down to 1.6 seconds. Connor managed to open the gap to Ricky Renner to 1.6 as well. So Connor on a little bit of a tear here. And so they're going to head down into Ascari. We apparently have some drone footage to show you. Yep, right here. Kind of a neat little camera. Give you an idea from the top down what that one looks like there. As we got another drone shot coming out of Parabolica here. Yeah. There we go. You can see he kind of just catapults you out onto this long straightaway here. I think I'm gonna like the Ascari one slightly a bit better. Let's see if Nick Terrell has something for Josh Betts here. Betts running second in gold. Terrell running in third. Gonna stick the nose in. Can he get it woed down in time? They are side by side on the exit. Who's gonna get the better exit? That is Josh taking the longer outside lane. But as it's a drag race, let's see who's going to win the horsepower war. Looking like Betts maybe had a little bit better exit on that outer line. But it's a braking battle into one. And looks like Nick Terrell is going to be the winner of that little battle. That puts Nick up 18 positions now, tied with Alan Gellison, who is not far behind Mr. Betts here either. We've got, that is Kevin Hayes catching up to the back of Jake Browning there. Yes. And these are, I believe, lap cars in front of them. Oof. Getting out of the way, but still forcing it to run 2x2. Whoa! That had to be a brown pants moment for Kevin there. Maybe not so wonderfully happy with his teammate. But as we, yep, still the closest battle here on track between these guys here. A little bit of a battle going on a little further back between Zane Bierman and Alex Jaspers. And it looks like they have Josh Anderson right behind them as well. Josh in that Chase Decals Corvette there. One of our series sponsors here. So if you need any graphic work, they do things like fleets, vehicles, office spaces, things like that. Not really into race car stuff or personal stuff, but if that's something that can help you out, go support Josh over at Chase Decals. We do appreciate his support of our channel. Checking through our Discord here, looks like Tyler Reed offering an apology for the door tap on lap number 2. So, I'd like to see good sportsmanship like that. That is Jack DeBruin in the pit lane here. Might need to put a pit lane button on my stream deck. Yeah, most of the times with a TV one, I can see down into the pits, but not here. Gotta run that back. Okay, not seeing any accidents here. We'll check back in with Josh Betts. Now has Alan Gullison in that Liquid Death Mustang about a half a second behind. So, see Betts, looks like that McLaren, the little on edge, you can see it wiggling around a little bit. Looking like Alan going to get the better exit. Got the gap now down to 3/10 of a second. Make that 2/10 going into Parabolica. Oh, getting it a little wide there, Josh. Catches the slide nicely, though, and just going to lose that position to Alan Gullison there. That puts Allison up, or not Allison. That puts Alan up 19 positions. All right, Barry, we are 40 minutes into this race now, just about. I know you got to have a pick. Who do you think's going to win tonight? As we see the last lap, new fastest lap set by Connor Wagner, the 147.05. So with these guys stopping earlier, right around the 20-21 minute mark, pit stops are going to be coming up soon. You know, you're definitely going to want to try to make it to that 40-minute mark at least. So you don't want to have to take a third pit stop. That would just be painful, especially here where you're going so fast. Pit lane times are in the 43 to 46 second range, it appears. Not going to be pitting in this time. See Ricky Renner back here. Getting a little bit of, yep, like I said, I think a little bit of blinking. Maybe some internet instability for Connor. Let's see. Barry says, Dan Griffin. Yeah, I have a hard time arguing with that one, but yeah, Connor taking the fastest lap of the race there. Might have a little something. Don't know if Dan's been saving and just maintaining that gap, trying to keep him just out of the good draft range. But that is Sergi taking a pit this time. As Nick Terrell up 19 positions because of that pit. And Alan Gullison up 20. Now where was Jack Peterson up 15 positions in 15? So Jack last lap looks like he may have had a clean lap running a 148.8. So little, somewhere about a second a lap slower than the guys up all the way at the sharp end of the stick of the field. Checking in with this another rookie here to see how the Wonder Bread Mustang is doing. Looks like it's eating plenty of curbs here. That's going on the specialty of the Mustang. It handles the curbs so well. All right. Got a little bit of a battle still going on here between Michael Schwartz and Kevin Hayes. I don't think I've seen really more than a second between these two all night. So we do appreciate them giving us such a good race to watch here tonight. Let's see. So we saw a few of those issues from Michael Riggs. Say apology in our Discord for his horrendous driving. Apparently he was having issues trying to turn right, so I didn't want to ruin anyone's race and decided to back on out. Which leaves the last person here on track running, I believe, is going to be... Yeah, and that's going to be Romario Jackson in the Lamborghini here. Check in here. So we get Sergi catching up to the back of Aaron Reed in that funky looking Lamborghini paint job. So considering these guys have pitted on the lap 12 and it is now lap 24, let's see if Dan comes in this time around. We are 43 minutes into the race. And while we're going to see some of these guys pit, let's remind you of some of our sponsors here that make the broadcast and prize pools available for these guys. Kim's Cups and More is your one-stop shop for all your apparel needs. Whatever your pleasure, Kim's Cups and More has it all. Check them out on Facebook today. That's Kim's Cups with a K and More. So we do appreciate their sponsorship, and if you need some little trinkets, they can get monogrammed or logos or all sorts of stuff. They can get you taken care of. And again, I've got to remember to get a pit lane button. Yep, that is Dan there. Now, this time by Nicholas Menard taking an extra lap. I have to see what he's done. Philip Adams made it 13 laps last time, and that wound up giving him a 4-second gap over Sergi there. And that gap is now after, well, it'd be hard to tell. But Philip Adams going for yet another one. That would be lap 26 or so. So not this time, but the next time would be when he would probably need to come in. But that has promoted him up ahead of Ricky Renner just during that pit stop phase. It's not going to be enough to take it all the way to the end, I doubt. But after that pit phase, looks like Connor Wagner able to close the gap down to Dan Griffith to 0.7 of a second. So, not sure if that's just from traffic or looking at their last lap. There's only a tenth or two either way. Pull up our little battle box, not the battle box, sorry, the time deltas between them, and kind of show you that, yeah, that gap has fallen about a second from lap 19 to 20. But that gap headed back out the other direction now, with Dan Griffith adding a 1.5 second lead over Connor Wagner. But that is Alan Gullison now has gotten to the back of Sergi. And Sergi, right there, about 3 seconds to the back of Nick Terrell. And so, yep. Currently, Philip Adams leading your gold drivers, Ricky Ritter leading your platinums. So as I said, I will have to check with Dave and make sure, but I'm pretty sure Menard should be in platinum currently. Alan trying to close that gap to Sergi, yet Josh just outside the draft window there. He'll be getting a little sniff, but not the Christopher Hamilton give me the big suck kind of draft that he would be wanting. This battle here to the 8/10 is really going to be, that Mustang takes the curb, strikes so well. So definitely a battle to keep an eye on here tonight. Yeah, Monza historically a low downforce track. I mean, you need the downforce to get the corner speed on some of these, but these straightaways being perfectly straight and so many of the corners being lower speed chicanes that you're really not getting the aero performance out of. It's kind of a point and sheep track. But as we're going through here, and like I said, I've got about 12 minutes left here in this race. Do you want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors, the Backbone Candle Company? Just a small candle company made by a tough mom, strong family, and a new dream. Check them out on Instagram, Whatnot, Facebook, and TikTok. So they make a bunch of custom candles. I guess more of a homemade flare, I believe. I need to check them out and get y'all some examples of what they offer. Being here so long, I'm going to take a little break and wet my whistle and give these guys some time to run out, and we'll be right back. And we are back for about the last 8 minutes of this race here. Sorry, just doing this solo. I had to give the vocal cords a little bit of a break. Closest battle on track here. Still kind of going on between Alan Gullison and Sergi there. Alan is slowly reeling him in. Got the gap down to 0.38 of a second here. As we are on board with Sergi here, let's see what that looks like in his rear view. Got a whole bunch of that big old Mustang front row there. You can kind of see what the draft does when we go back down. So a big snoot of the Mustang there. Gonna head it to the outside. Kind of see the Mustang gonna get generally the Mustang able to go to those curbs a little bit better, maybe get a little better run off of them. Another battle here between Jack and I believe that is Aaron Reed and the Lambo ahead of him. So another battle to kind of keep an eye on. Jack up 8 positions, Aaron up 6. Currently tied for the biggest gains is going to be Alan Gullison up 19 positions, and Nick Terrell not far ahead up 19 positions. So we dig into it here. Looks like Alan taking about a second less time sitting in his, stopped in his pit stall, so that's what brought him up closer. That's the difference in running 12 laps versus 11. I haven't seen too much out of Michael Picone tonight. We're doing a nice little respectable race, 16th overall, 3rd in silver tonight. Check out with our respective leaders in their class. Tan Griffith, like I said, currently in rookie, but will be in platinum very soon. Currently, as I'm showing Ricky Renner here in the simraces.com McLaren. So I know they're starting to do some coaching and whatnot, so if you need to get some of that, if I want to reach out and get in touch with some of those guys, they all run that same simraces.com livery. And then Philip Adams, currently leading in gold, has a 7.5 second gap over Nick Terrell. Nick last lap about a quarter of a second faster. So with just 5 minutes left, Nick's going to have to, he needs to be taking seconds a lap off, not tenths of seconds. So Adams having one of these shorter last pit stops with 12.5 seconds spent stationary in the pit box. The other one to do anything close was Nicholas Menard. He is in the Ferrari. So wanted to keep an eye on the gap now between Connor and Dan, 1.4 seconds. Looks like Dan was able to manage the risk there and get out back to his lead. So provided he doesn't run out of fuel or make a silly mistake, Barry, I think your prediction was pretty close. Connor's definitely giving it some effort. Okay, here we go. This is the closest I've seen these guys. 0.1 coming out of Parabolica. You can go down here into Prima Variante. And looks like Sergi having just enough to hold Alan off for yet another lap. But with that gap currently at 0.3 seconds, Alan kind of like a dog with a bone, not letting it up. You can see the gap there between Philip Adams and Nick Terrell. You got Gellison and Sergi there, putting on a nice little show for us. Going to the first Lesmo here, see how they're doing. And the second Lesmo. We have a little under 4 minutes, so pretty much 3 minutes left to go here. So there's your gap there. Let's see. Does Alan have anything through a Scari? Does not appear to be so. See how close he comes out of parabolic on this one. A tenth of a second last lap, and didn't quite have enough to make the move down into turn one. Not quite so close this time, about 3.5 tenths as they launch onto the back straight. Have to wonder if Alan might be trying to manage a little bit of fuel. Because with 57 seconds and where they finished, looks like we're probably going to get 2 more laps here in this race before it will go to checkers. Showing a black flag here for Jack De Bruin, so I wonder if he passed the incident limit, and he's going to have to do that. Showing a yellow flag for William Brill, that will be a slowdown that he has gotten cleared. James Molyneux also with a slowdown, it appears. And he has that cleared. And that is a spot for position with Tyler Roberts all over the back of him there. I will say that it is Jake Browning catching up to the back of Brody Wallace. Running him tight there. They go down into Parabolica here. Keeping an eye on this one. I can also see Connor getting that gap down to under a second. So maybe waiting for a final lap push. But currently your close battle here on track. Gonna go down into turn one here. Gonna stick it out. Last of the late breakers. They are door to door. God, that Mustang is going to go over those curves and get such a good run out. It's going to be very hard for Jake to get around that Mustang. And I'm just telling you, the size difference between that Mustang and that McLaren is insane. But here we go, leaders. Gap down to 0.6 of a second. Is Connor going to have something coming out into Parabolica here? And 0.5, that's a drag race towards Ascari. Not thinking Connor's going to be quite close enough to make the move. Keep an eye on this one. Jake has the position going into Ascari. Little touch there. Some really good racing between these two, keeping it interesting. As that is checkered flag, and Dan Griffith going to take it with 0.49 of a second there. As we come into Parabolica, will Brody have anything for Jake? Gets to the inside of him here as they launch around to the outside. Who's going to take it at the line? So like Brody's going to have it about 0.02 of a second. What a finish there. Kevin Hayes going to hold, or Michael Schwartz going to take the spot from Kevin Hayes there. Who else do we have here? So that is Alan Collison looking, see if he could get around Sergi at the very last moment. Nothing doing there. but good racing there. Trying to see who's left that has a battle. I don't believe it's anyone else. A little bit of one here between Hayes and Jaspers. Who's going to have it at the line? Hayes by 0.01 of a second there. That's a finish. So let's ping these guys and get them to head on into the booth. Oh, got by Dan Griffin. Connor Wagner. Ricky Renner. Good. Gold is going to be. Silver is going to be Alan Gellison. And bronze is going to be William Burrell. Oh, that's right. I think he goes by Bill in the Discord. There we go. Yep. All right. Okay. So let's pull up our race results here. We'll wait for these guys to get in. So it is Dan Griffith taking home your win. 0.493 of a second to second place Connor Wagner, putting up a valiant effort there at the end. Then we have Ricky Renner in third, Nicholas Menard in fourth. Fifth will be Brody Wallace. Sixth, Jake Browning. Seventh, Michael Schwartz. Eighth will be Kevin Hayes. Philip Adams in ninth. Nick Terrell in 10th. Sergi in 11th. 12th will be Alan Gullison. 13th will be Josh Betts. Josh Anderson in 14th. 15th will be Jack Peterson. Michael Pacone in 16th. Eric Langkamp 17th. 18th, Aaron Reed. 20th will be Bill Burrell. Lyman Chow in 19th will be Bill Burrell. 20th will be Lyman Chow. Tyler Roberts in 21st. 22nd will be Kerry Corcoran. Tim Thompson in 23rd. 24th, James Molyneux. Jack DeBruin in 25th. 26th will be Zane Bierman. Chris Hayes in 27th. Alex Jaspers in 28th. 29th will be Romario Jackson. 30th, Tyler Reed. 31st, Michael Rakes. Drake Leach in 32nd. Andrew Carabin in 33rd. Warren Sanger in 34th. Stephen Wilcox in 35th. All right, now we're going to need to zoom back a few laps. We're going to grab one of these guys. Let me grab William Burrow here. Yep, got the right one. We're going to set that over to that. Boom. And who do we have in the thing? Bill, this is John in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, John, I'm here. How are you?
Doing all right. You know, another race of keeping your nose clean and surprise, surprise, you're here on the podium step for the winning bronze division.
Yeah, that's a total surprise to me tonight. I was just trying to hang on a couple times. The car got a little bit loose on lap 29. I did a tank slapper. I just watched it. I'm surprised I saved it, but it worked out.
Yeah, looking like you had about a 4-second lead over Lyman there at the end. So good job. You know, Monza, the speed, the McLaren kind of works out.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked this car at the beginning of the season for no other reason than I needed it for the first race in CSRL, and I figured I would just keep driving it. And you know, it's been a few seasons since I've ran it, and it seems like it wants to kill me every now and again.
Well, you know, speaking of killing you, next week, Fuji, it's 100% rain. Looking forward to it or not at all?
I don't mind rain. Last night in another league, you know, we had a monsoon. I drove in and finished 11th. So kind of as a consistent, slower driver, rain generally doesn't affect me as much as it does everybody else. So I don't mind it. Bring on the rain.
Well, congratulations on winning bronze here tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 21 machine before I let you go?
I do. I got muted our first race that I happened to win. So I wanted to say thanks to my mom, always watching, her friend Sandy, always, and Simcraft for putting together a good rig, and I'll give them a plug. They are sponsoring the Sim Racing gaming convention in Chicago in September. And, if anybody listening goes by there, tell them, you race with me or you know me. And of course, they're going to let you drive the rigs, and they're an awesome machine. I don't do it justice, man, but if you check it out when you're there, it's a nice rig.
Let's see, September. I'll actually be out in Portland then, but otherwise, I probably would.
All righty. Well, thanks a
have
lot,
good one.
John, and have a good one. Thanks.
All right, that was the bronze winner, Bill Burrow, and so now we're going to pull in Mr. Alan Gullison here. Alan, this is John in the booth. You get a copy.
I do. How's it going, John?
Going all right. Saw you, did the last to first challenge. You only made it to 12th, but
Yeah.
so you had a heck of a battle there with Sergi.
Yeah, it was, I mean, he's fast.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pass him. He made a little mistake in the last corner, and I was able to cut back and get the run on him during the straight. But I just couldn't get enough of a draft to get him before the chicane, and because obviously he was protecting the inside as well, which I knew he was going to do. Yeah, he was just fast. He was, I was really just trying to, stay on his bumper and, force a mistake out of him, but he held his composure and did freaking great, man. So yeah. Good job.
Well, congratulations for winning silver here tonight.
Thank you.
Headed to Fuji next week, and it's 100% chance of rain. You excited about that, or absolutely dreading it?
The rain. Nah, I hate the rain, but nah, it'll still be fun. Just gotta practice a little bit more, and yeah, like try to stay in those dry lane or those dry spots, and yeah, it'll be all right.
All right. Well, congratulations. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that Ford Mustang?
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to my teammate Jack Peterson for hanging it in there. I think he had a bit of a rough start, but I think he stuck it out to the end. I'm gonna go talk to him right now and see what happened. But
Yeah, I think there was a little bumpies, bumper cars into.
yeah,
it's
man,
turn one
that
Monza.
yeah,
I've
that
seen much
start
worse.
is crazy.
No one died.
I have
in turn
to,
one.
yeah. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be slow, but being in the back of the field, man, it was like being on the 101 freeway in the middle of rush hour in LA. It was crazy. Everybody was just stopped. I was hoping it wouldn't be stopped like that, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to just do what you can. So, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, again, congratulations. Hopefully we can catch you next
you.
week.
All right, have a good one.
All right. That was Ellen Gullison. Now we are up to Philip Adams. Let's bring him in here. Mr. Adams, this is John in the booth. You got a copy.
How you doing, John?
Doing all right. Saw you having one heck of a battle there for quite a while,
yeah.
but he finally came out on top.
Yeah, that Sergi Broke or whatever his name is, I was trying to stick with Josh Betts and just push him and save as much fuel as I can, as I typically do.
It looks like you were bump drafting there for a little while too.
I was, yeah. I got in trouble for that, I think, a little bit, but that's okay. But yeah, I was trying to stick with Josh Betts, and then Sergi, he just kind of was getting in the way. So I think I didn't get out in front of him until after the pits, but I had left a big gap during the pits, and that was good.
Yeah, I think Sergi and Josh had a little contact through a Scary.
Did they? I was looking for something.
I think that's where that 4 seconds for you came from.
Oh, yeah. And then I had trouble out of 8, 9, 10. I thought I was going to catch up to Kevin and pass him. And we talk about this car. You have to focus on letting off early and saving that fuel to go fast. And I forgot that coming out of my second pit stop. Chicane, man, it sent me straight into the wall, but thankfully I could held it to the end of the race.
Well, yeah, we missed that one on the broadcast, but looking here towards the end, looks like you didn't cause you too much damage, and still coming away with the gold win. So congratulations. Anybody you
Thanks,
want to give
man.
a
Thank you.
shout out to on that McLaren before we let you go celebrate?
To you, I really thought I was gonna be joining you after T1, but I didn't. So shout out to you, doing a nice solo race again, and Team Fat Boys.
Well, again, congratulations, and then it's a wet Fuji race next week, so good luck.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the wet. I'm typically pretty good in the wet, so we'll see how everybody else is in the wet.
All right. Well, again, let's say hope we catch you next week.
Thanks, John.
All right. And that is Philip Adams. So we're going to bring Mr. Ricky Renner in here. Ricky, this is John in the booth. You got a copy?
John in the booth, how's it going?
It's going good. Saw you survive the turn one shenanigans, and then I'm not sure where it came from, but Connor just upright ran you down and kind of left you.
Yeah, a little bit. It
They,
got to this point to where that Ferrari's so good on the cold tires and it dropped out of the draft early, and then there were some shenanigans behind me, so I was kind of just felt like a sitting duck, just waiting for the draft to catch back up to me. And Connor was taking a little bit out, and I kind of tried to play it like to where we'd come out of the pits and I could just get behind him and hopefully just use the draft and save an extra lap of fuel. And yep, just didn't happen. Didn't happen. They were so much better than me through like 6 and 7 in the middle of the track, and I would lose 4/10 there every lap. So it was like 2 laps and I was out of the draft already. So that was
yeah,
tough.
it's hard when especially that it seems like the Ferrari is just able to get on the power better coming out of like 1 and 2, and even the Mustang is better at that. So it's
Yeah, it was a me thing. I mean, Connor was in the McLaren too, and he was kind of killing me coming out of 2 and turning the TC off a little bit a couple times. And I was like, you know what? Like, we have 0 incidents this race. Let's just collect some extra points on that. And it's nice to actually be able to see those guys again in a race because we've had a string of bad. I know it says I won for now until they get their platinum division, but like, yeah,
I think
it's
for
been
Dan that
been a
might
rough
be
little
next
string.
week.
Yeah, it's been a rough little string there of races, and it was just good to finally finish one and be up near the front.
But hey, it's 100% chance of rain at Fuji next week. You excited about that prospect, or is that
Plenty of
bring back
practice
some
in that
recent
last night.
memories?
Plenty of practice in that last night. No, I don't mind it. I mean, I enjoy the rain. I enjoy getting to do the rain races.
You ever
Hopefully we don't
run
get
a wet
blessed with
Fuji?
the. Can say I
Fu-
have.
Fuji has some nice
I
big puddles.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But at least it's not like Road America where
We
the
can see.
road is like a normal road and it's just like a triangle. So like just the center doesn't have a puddle. But we might have to do a car swap next week because depending on how heavy the rain is, if it was all flooded like that, the McLaren ride height was too low and we were just hydroplaning everywhere in that thing.
It was also
Crazy.
fixed.
Oh yeah, we're an open setup, so you can that helps. We'll stick with it then. I like driving the car.
Congratulations for the platinum win, at least, and the third place overall. So
For now.
yeah,
Are they gonna come take my trophy back when they get their division?
That's a question for David.
I'll fight him for it. It's fine. On
All
Tuesday.
right. Well, anybody you want to give out shout out to on that simraces.com, McLaren?
Yeah, shout out to you for sticking it out here in the booth. The whole core crew for running a great series. All the competition for showing up because the series has been pretty awesome this season. It's always been good and one of my favorite ones, but the competition has stepped up and that's awesome. And then shout out to the whole simraces.com crew. The boys were out there having a good time, good races, and putting in laps, getting ready for it. We'll do it again next Thursday.
All right. Hopefully we can catch you again.
See ya.
All right, that was Ricky Renner. Looks like Connor probably having some pre think he's got a little. Towards the end there, it looked like Connor was trying to come after you pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure. Little sketchy maybe at the end there, but I don't know. I was driving very conservatively last 5 or so laps, so I think that played into it. But yeah, it was good. It was kind of fun to see him chipping away at it, and was kind of nervously counting the laps down for sure.
One of those when the white flag's coming out, you're like, do I need
Yeah,
to
it was
save
it was
one
a
extra
big
lap, or
yeah, it was a
am I
big sigh of
good?
relief. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's one of those things that, unfortunately, I'm never leading the race. So I'm never the one that gets to dictate whether or not there's an extra lap. That's never my choice.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, at one point my fuel calculator did have me going an extra lap, and I was like, "Nope, I don't want to do that." So let's slow down a bit. But
Back it off a little, but
yeah,
again, great, great drive tonight. I know next week we're headed to Fuji. It's 100% chance of rain. How you feel about that one?
a little less confident than this week, if I'm honest. So I don't know. It's not my favorite track, and we'll see. Sometimes the rain just adds so much unknown. So yeah, a little bit less calculated, I think. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. I think you ran one race with us last season?
I did not know this was my
Okay.
first season with y'all. Yep.
Nicholas did though. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So he'll be in platinum next week. I think he got one more. But
Got it.
again, congratulations. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that Ferrari before we
Yeah,
let
just
you go?
some 100 Force guys, and yeah, looking forward to next week.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, and hopefully we can catch you again next week.
Sounds good.
That was our winner, Dan Griffin, and that will be the end of the broadcast here tonight. From everybody here at Core, remember to keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down, and we will catch you next week.
Engines roar, the lights go green. Metal beasts on gasoline. Pedal down, no turning back. Feel the thunder on the track. Chrome and steel, the battle calls. Through the smoke, we stand tall. Rivals crushed, we leave in dust. Speed is our only trust. You think you're fast, you think you're tough, but on this track it sucks to suck. Born to race, born to fight. Push the limit all the night. Feel the fire, hear the sound. Burning rubber on the ground. No mercy shown, no second place. In this league, there's no disgrace. If you're not first, you know